Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be closing out our July 10th paycheck budget, which is paycheck 2 of 2 for the month of July. So after I close this budget out, I'm going to go ahead and set up the budget for August, which I actually haven't done yet. So I wanted to also go over with you, should we have any extra money left over, or if we don't have any extra money left over, how I update those numbers in my Fudget app, since on my Fudget app, I do have our paychecks budgeted, I think, up until next year, like till next, I want to say August. So I want to show you guys that as well. So let's start with the income. A couple of wins for us for this paycheck budget. So I'm really excited to talk about it. So with our paycheck, I didn't budget ahead of time here. I just went ahead and wrote out my husband's actual paycheck. But like I said, I do budget ahead in my Fudget app. But as far as writing it down, for this one, I just wrote it down when my husband got paid so that I could put his actual paycheck on there. So what I did note on here was that he did receive holiday pay, which was an extra work day. Plus he worked a lot of overtime for this paycheck period, this is probably about $400 more than usual for his base pay, which I'm happy about. Leftover amount is $24.32. Here, I do make a note for myself to not count as income because it's just leftover money from the previous budget. It's not necessarily incoming money, but I do use this amount to create our budget. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I also have on here that I added from my sister-in-law. She was kind enough to treat us out, or not treat us out. She paid for takeout at a restaurant, and we just went and picked it up first, and then she gave us cash. So I wanted to try to work that into our budget, which I will get to later on when I get down here with my variable spending. So our total income, $3,094. And with all of our bills, everything went according to plan, except for my federal loan, which is one of my student loans. This was $60 more. I can't remember if I scheduled that or I don't know what happened, but there was an overpayment, but I'm okay with that. So that one was just $60 over than expected. Also for this paycheck, we decided to finally pay off our cell phone debt. And for a while, I wasn't really considering it debt, which I should have. We got these phones. My mom is on our line and she really wanted a new phone. And she told me about the buy one, get one deal. And that's what we ended up getting. And she paid for the taxes that you have to pay up front. But one of the things I never realized before until I actually looked at my cell phone bill is that they charge an extra, I think it was $4.50 per month. And when I calculated that in a 24-month period, I think it ended up being like a little over $100, or like I think it was like $118 or something like that. So we decided to just go ahead and pay it off. And I told my mom, she's pretty much stuck with her phone for a while unless she wants to pay for a new one. And I'm still working on a way to try to figure out maybe our actual cell phone bill is $260 and we pay for 4 lines. So that's the next thing on my list to kind of figure out if we can get that lower. So as far as the bills go, let me add that up. Everything else went according to plan pretty much. So what I had originally budgeted for our bills was $1,027. And let's see. Oh my gosh. Getting distracted. $260. So we ended up spending $1,086.35, which minus our income, $2,007.73 to budget, which is more than what I had initially started out with, which was $1,987. So here, I wanted to show you guys, I got a ton of questions, like a lot of questions on my Instagram about these. These are from the Budget Mom. These expense trackers, like cashless expense trackers. If you guys use debit card, I don't use cash. We just use our debit card to buy stuff. So I didn't really have an expense tracker per category. like an envelope like a lot of cash envelope users did or do. So what I would do is do budget recaps whenever I feel like we've been spending a lot, just to make sure we're not going over budget. So these came in super handy, and I decided to laminate them instead of printing them out every time I do a budget. So for the last budget, I decided to finally invest in a laminator, which I have been thinking about for a while. So I went ahead and did that. Plus, I'll be able to use the laminator stuff for my kids. And so these are my budget categories. So miscellaneous, school, fun and events, myself, my husband, kids, household, and food. The only thing not on here is transportation. I still have to print some out, but for the most part, transportation never goes over budget. We don't go anywhere. My husband just goes to work and home, and we'll go grocery shopping. So for the most part, transportation never goes over budget. So I'm not really too worried about that, but I do want to make sure we track everything else. I also thought that since I have everything all totaled up here, I don't have to go in the back of my expense trackers in here to total everything up. What I can do is just take the amounts here and subtract it from what I had originally budgeted, and I should get the amount that I spent. So, before I forget, I did use a wet erase marker for these. I did get that question a lot too, is what marker I was using so that it doesn't smudge. So this marker doesn't smudge. And I did hear, or a lot of people told me, that you can also use a Sharpie and just use rubbing alcohol to take it off. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in case that was something this might be something you were interested in if you're a debit card user like myself or don't use cash too often. So I'm going to start off with the food budget. So for here, this looks really bad. I know we went over $27.90. So what I would do there is just add the $27.90 to what I had originally budgeted, because we did go over by this much. So, and I think adding it this way, or figuring out how much we spent for our variable spending, will save me some time. I know I'm doing double work, tracking it in my expense tracker and then tracking it here, but I do love seeing it on here as well, because I get a running balance of how much we have left. So I really like that, and I'm implementing that into my budgeting routine. Okay, so for this $76.10, that is what came out of our checking account, because since we went ahead and picked up the order, that was what we paid for. And then my sister-in-law gave us $80 to pay for it. I decided to just make it a category, and I think I'll add that in the end of the month spending, just because it doesn't really go with any of the categories, since we didn't really technically spend our own money. Well, we kind of did, but then she paid us back. So that's how I'm tracking it for this paycheck period. So that's that. So if I just add everything up here, so we spent $849.75, which, yes, was over our original budget, but because of this amount right here. So I'm going to subtract that from our leftover money and get $1,157.98. So I'm going to go ahead and carry this leftover amount in here. And my sinking funds, if you didn't catch that video, I went ahead and implemented sinking funds for this budget. And I didn't add anything else, so everything stayed the same. Just forgot to write it in here. I wasn't sure if I was going to add any more So that's 400 minus 400. So $757.98. 757.98. And I did make an extra debt payment of $507 because I'm really trying to pay off this student loan by August before it's due next. It's due, the next time it's due is August 21st, and I want it paid off by then. So that's the goal. So we have 507, and then our leftover amount, $250.98. So this time around, I'm not going to add into our savings since we did put a little bit extra in our last budget, and a lot of it went to our sinking funds. I'm just going to wait until our bigger budget in August to put more into our emergency funds. So what we're going to do is check to see if this amount matches what I actually have. And since I use my expense tracker as like a check register, I make sure that it's whatever's in my checking account here is correct. So this is what's in my checking account, and this is cash. So $150.01 plus $101. I'm gonna write that on there. So in my checking account, I'll write it on here. I have $150.01 plus cash is $101. So I have $251.01. $251.01. So we're just over by a couple cents, which is fine. I probably dropped a couple of cents in here or miscalculated a few pennies maybe. I'm not sure, but last time I checked, this was exactly what we had. So maybe it was, I don't know, but it's 3 pennies. I'm not going to go crazy looking for that. So yeah, that is what we have left over, and I'm going to show you how I add that into my my Fudget app. And for those of you who are new here, I like to budget ahead in my Fudget app. I do have budgets made way ahead of time, and then I will go ahead and write them out whenever it's payday week. So here on my Fudget app, I have July 24th, since that's the paycheck that my husband got paid. He told me on Wednesday night that this is the amount that his paycheck would be. And then I already have a category here that says from last paycheck. And I'm just going to go ahead and write out $251 on there. I'm just going to skip the penny for now. I'm just going to put $251. And then it gives me a balance of what I have left over. So $583 left to budget. In addition to, I have my variable spending here on the top, and then I have my bills here. What I also did for this paycheck budget was that I decided to I decided to pay my cell phone bill with the July 10th paycheck, just so we have more money with the July 24th paycheck. So I made sure to make a note here because it's due on the 25th. So we paid for, just so I know, I made a note here just so I know that I don't need to go back and pay for our cell phone bill. It's already been taken care of. That is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys are finding these videos helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.